Hey everybody, a couple of things before we start the show. Download the Chill Lover Radio app where you can find thousands of streaming music programs as well as podcasts like Collateral Cinema, and you can find them online. You can find them on iTunes and Google Play, and we really encourage you to check this app out. Check out the shows that are playing there and give them some support on social media and everything. So check them out. Chill Lover Radio, Collateral Cinema is on there. And yeah, give them a download. And our podcast shout out is going to a couple of legends in the world of film criticism, of comedy, and just in general geekery. And that is, of course, Movie Sign with the Mads, hosted by Trace Bolillo and Frank Conniff of Mystery Science Theater 3000. I enjoy this show because I'm such a huge MST3K fan. I mean, you've probably seen some of my posts on Twitter, the retweets for Mystery Science Theater related material. So I really love this show. It's very funny. They talk about movies as only Frank and Trace can, and we really like them a lot. So check them out. They're all over the internet. They're on iTunes. They're wherever you get your podcasts. So yeah, give them a listen. And now, on with the show. I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon. I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
This is Collateral Cinema. Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast. So whatever you have, be it dabs, be it blunts, be it bongs, be it joints, be it vape pens, whatever, smoke it if you got it. And this is the second movie in our little horror kick to the lead up to our season finale. And we are talking about Slumber Party Massacre. Now, what do you guys think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, namely, Robert, you're the one who brought this to the podcast.
Was the main pick for this, right? And
Yeah.
Oh, it's just something I pretty much grew up with when the Netflix era came out, you know?
Right.
And back when you can switch your old movies out, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, from those days, it was... From that to the YouTube era, which I try to get this on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they don't play it right. It just keeps repeating itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't really understand what happened there.
So when you told me that, you know, there was 3 copies of, you know, 1, 2, and 3 at the movie Exchange.
Yeah.
On Bandera Road. And I went there and I scooped it up immediately, bro.
Yeah, I was the one that told you that it was there, and it's because it's just such an essential horror movie series to have, really.
Oh, you need this in your collection right with your sleepaway camp.
Exactly, with your sleepaway camp or your house on Sorority Row, or seriously, even up there with stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street, or
it's right up there,
or Friday the 13th, or Halloween even. I mean, there's a lot of parallels in this movie to Halloween. Ash, what do you think about that?
In regards to Halloween?
In regards to Slumber Party Massacre, just as a slasher movie in general.
Oh, you know, the slasher element in this one it's just so perverse. That's the best way to describe it, right? It
does kind of have that perverse quality to it, but that's kind of normal for some of the old Roger Corman films.
It's a male depiction, if you will. Sorry.
Yeah, but it just kind of that whole male fantasy. You know, you can definitely tell it's catering to that, but at the same time satirizing it.
But that's really the thing about that is it's written by a woman, Rita Mae Brown, and it's directed by a woman as well.
That's what makes it pretty awesome, right?
Amy Jones, right?
Yeah, that's what makes it pretty unique.
I mean, Amy Jones herself, she got the job directing this because she really, really, really wanted to do a Roger Corman flick. So she took this script written by Rita Mae Brown, which was originally a lot more satirical in its origins, more or less. And she made like a short film for it for like $1,000, and she gave it to Roger Corman just kind of as a demo reel, pretty much. But he liked the idea of the movie so much that he was like, "Look, we want you to make this into a movie. Actually, this is script by Rita Mae Brown, but we do want to make some changes." Because initially this was going to be more satirical. We're going to get into that a little bit later on here in a little bit, but I think that the movie is kind of funny in its own right, though. Right, Robert?
Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of unintended humor here and there. That's a lot of fun. Dakota, what did you think about this movie?
It was fun. Kind of like House of the Dead fun with all the death, but like not as much of, the stupidity. This was actually kind of fun, and it was enjoyable, more enjoyable than House of the Dead, I think, because it was a kind of a good movie.
Yeah,
in all rights.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially the feminist aspect you're talking about.
Yeah, there's definitely a feminist angle to this because that's what Rita Mae Brown herself was initially before she wrote this movie.
Right.
She's a feminist activist, and she's written quite a few different works. I think a couple of her books are actually in the background of this movie here and there.
And it's really odd that you mentioned the fact that one of the writers was a feminist, is because right now we're watching literally the gratuitous shower scene. I mean, this whole movie is filled with all of these fan service shots, but at the same time, it's kind of the point, right? It's ironic.
It is. I mean, it's supposed to be more or less a subversion of the male gaze.
Yeah.
Once again, that's something that we're going to get into here in a little bit, but I mean, it does kind of provide a different context to how some of the actual nudity and some of the sexuality is portrayed in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Almost like Carrie right there in that one scene.
It is a little bit like Carrie,
that one shower scene.
Just not nearly as traumatizing as that.
No, I mean, they're not hazing you for getting your period. I mean, come on. Sorry.
Yeah.
Should I say that?
I don't know, dude.
Right in the shower. But yeah, this movie is, one of the most significant films I've ever seen, really. Just from like out of the 1982. Just from being an indie film
it's
itself.
Significant because it's so anomalous compared to other movies of its era.
Right. That's what I'm saying. We can go back and base this off the Driller Killers,
Yeah, the actual weapon that's used in this movie, which is very much, an obvious phallic symbol.
Of course.
Once again, we're going to go into that here in a little while.
Male depiction, exactly.
But yeah, it does kind of have its precedent in Abel Ferrara's Driller Killer. That was his first movie. He starred in that role. And what's interesting about that is that was more about a quote-unquote homosexual or gay sexual awakening, more or less.
With lots of heroin, probably.
Lots of heroin involved.
That's what I'm thinking. Just
that's New York in the 70s. Of course, there's going to be heroin.
Your sexuality with heroin, maybe in the 70s.
Yeah. Or cocaine, as it were.
Yeah.
It just depends on what scene you were in, I guess.
Scorsese, right? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Scorsese.
Yeah, his portrayal of that really, really gritty New York. That's the same thing that's shown in Driller Killer. But, the drill that he uses in that one is a lot different. It's more of a original power pack drill with a battery pack. Mm-hmm. This drill right here, it's longer, it's a lot more defined, and it's also cordless, which is interesting.
Yeah, and this kind of predates cordless drills, doesn't it?
Right. That's what Robert was saying before.
Yeah, I was like, what is that, a Milwaukee cordless?
Yeah, something like
drill
that.
Right through concrete with a cordless?
Did you say this was 81?
82, I believe, right?
81, 82.
1982, that's my birth year, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in 1982.
And you know for a fact there is no battery pack to come on.
Fuck yeah. Seriously.
I know that. We're not that stupid. I was born in 1989. just long enough to know who Michael Keaton's Batman is. I'm sorry. Hell yeah.
So right, this movie is already kind of out of its time. You know, it's already got that factor of that because
anachronistic, right?
Right. Yeah, and this movie is very iconic. You know, this is a very iconic movie. It's a movie that I'll remember because the drill scenes, bro, they're so intense. I mean, there's some intense death scenes in this movie.
Seriously, it's definitely a representation of patriarchy that's definitely told from a female point of view. I mean, it's kind of put in its proper context.
Yeah, and she did a good job of that whole feminist aspect. I mean, all the males, there's not a single surviving male actor in this movie. Not a single one.
Nearly all of the men in this movie are depicted as either creepy or douchebags or both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're right about that, guys.
Oh, it's prevalent throughout the entire movie. Like, for instance, the neighbor character. What's his name?
I forgot his name.
Mr.
but
Carter?
We'll go into that.
Yeah,
later once it
Mr.
happens.
Carter.
The
Mr.
scene
Carter.
happens. We are playing the movie as we're speaking.
We see him outside while
Chopping
these girls,
snails.
chopping up snails
with a cleaver.
with a cleaver. What the fuck is that?
And
What
we're
are
talking
you
like
doing?
We're talking like massive snails, like these massive like baseball size, at least golf ball size snails. You know,
And then you just
The type that French restaurants use for escargot.
right? Okay, and
it's
he's
French.
He's counting. He's at like 56 when he slices
With
the
a
Oh
cleaver.
last
god
one.
damn, that's
Is that a
terrible.
metaphor for something?
Okay,
I'm
here's
not
a
quite
drill
sure.
killer.
Prob-
Third person with a Levi's jacket. Right?
Oh yeah, that's an interesting shot. This is where the girl Valerie is killed.
She
right? That's her name, the new
is-
girl.
I think she got left
No, it's
behind.
not the new girl.
And she goes back for her books.
Yeah, she.
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
like a
that's right.
test the
Yeah,
next
she's
day
with
or
the-
something.
Yeah,
she
with
goes
the
back
group.
for a book.
She goes back
locked
into the
in.
school and she gets locked
And
in by
this
the
is-
killer, and the killer it follows her and stabs her to death.
Well-
This is happening. Sorry, this is happening right now as we're. watching
Yeah,
the
yeah.
film.
We, of
Sorry.
course, we have the movie on in the background as per usual for Collateral Cinema. I mean, we always need to have this movie playing so we can put it in the proper context. You know,
Exactly. At least for a reference or
Right.
whatnot. We got the killer lurking in the girls' locker room with a driller. What do
those are some awesome shots right there. You know, in between the lockers, we only ever see them from that particular point of view.
Oh, those are fantastic shots, man. Yeah.
They really are. I mean, seriously.
At least from a director and third-person killer point of view.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of this movie was actually shot at the director's own personal house, Amy Jones, her and her husband's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where the actual slumber party scenes are actually shown. I'm not entirely sure about the school though. I'm not entirely sure where that was actually shot.
Maybe just the nearby school.
somewhere in
Yeah.
California.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
That or a set.
I doubt it's a set.
No, you would have to build up for that. So
Yeah.
It didn't look like they had the
back,
budget for
back,
that.
yeah, back
You
in
have
the
a
day, you would just use something else, really. But yeah, it's cheaper when you don't use so many cuts and you just
Yeah. But I really, really love how they play so many of these tropes straight, but it still feels a little bit like the satirical parody of slasher films that it was intended to be. Because that's actually what Rena Mae Brown, the writer of this movie, that's what she wanted at first. And she was actually not particularly happy about how the producers went behind her back and pretty much told the director to film it like a straight horror movie. I mean, do you guys think that it would have been as memorable of a movie if it was a straight satire as it was intended? What do you think, Ash?
Well, like you said before, a lot of those elements still bleed through in the movie. I mean, like we said earlier, a lot of the male fantasy and a lot of the gratuitous death scenes as well just seem to be there for ironic effect. You know, they're played
Yeah,
out to just
yeah.
a ridiculous level, and so it's hard to watch this and not get kind of a satirical vibe off of it.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way that it plays with what you would traditionally call a male gaze, which for those who doesn't know is basically the propensity for a camera to reflect the male creators of it and actually show women in a very, very overtly sexualized manner. That's
Right.
what the male gaze is. And since this isn't actually filmed by men, I mean, it's produced by Roger Corman, of course, but since it isn't written and actually made by men, directed by men, it puts everything in a completely different context.
Yeah,
Right. Well, that's what makes this movie so like original, is that there's this feminist who makes these characters that are so open and titties.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Titties, bro. They're all throughout this
The
movie.
women's director
Right.
point of view.
Yeah, and she's an outright feminist, and she's making these movies that are about, like you said, the male gaze.
Yeah.
From that
Or,
point of
or
view.
like I said, subverting the male gaze. But even so, a lot of that still feels very fan servicey, though. I mean,
Right.
it still knows who its target audience was at the time. I mean, this was the early 80s. There was a very specific time and place. I mean, you kind of had to be there to understand what it was, like even as a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the era of stuff like Porky's and Meatballs and all that
Watching
shit.
The Greatest American Hero and Knight Rider.
Yeah.
I wasn't even born yet, sorry. But that's what came out. And yeah, this is definitely the woman's depiction of a male fantasy.
Yeah, very much so. And apparently, like I said before, Rita Mae Brown, she was a feminist activist. And I mean, that comes through in spades even in this final product,
Yeah.
I mean, the feminist angle to this movie is very, very pronounced.
I would say so. It's always kind of ever present.
Should
Yeah,
we put
seriously.
on? Sorry, guys. Should we put on the sound or the subtitles because there's
There
a killer
is-
on the radio?
That's what's weird about this.
Yeah,
There's no
fuck.
subtitles.
I think I
on
brought
this.
the wrong one, but I got all 3 films, dude.
Yeah. It's the Shout Factory release.
Mother.
But for some
Sorry.
reason, they didn't put subtitles on this. I don't know why, but I mean, it is a little annoying. I won't lie.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong about that.
I mean, seriously.
The basketball team is planning a party. A slumber party to bare their souls.
No, I think your tits are getting bigger. Mine?
All the girls are coming, except Mary and Linda. And they won't be missed. The party begins at 8 o'clock. It's a slumber party for old time's sake.
Love it too. Do you think I'm getting better?
But be on the lookout for an uninvited guest.
Please, please.
When the pizza arrives, things really start jumping. Some people may have to leave early, but others will hang around and hang around.
Courtney, you're underage. Negative. Come on, let's go. I'm not gonna eat the dead guy's pizza.
I feel better already. Really, I do.
But for those who stay, there'll be plenty of surprises and non-stop action. One thing's for sure, no one's getting any sleep the night of the Slumber Party Massacre. Close your eyes for a second and sleep forever.
There's another male depiction, the drill going through the door.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought you needed a new drill hole.
Yes. Well, what's interesting about this scene is that it's like you see her drill through the hole, which is, it was suspenseful. They had suspenseful music, and then suddenly the drill, which is another, not only is it another phallic symbol, but it's also the drill, which is the killer's weapon.
But here's the other angle to that is that it's a woman who's doing the handiwork there.
Right.
The drill.
That's another one.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about that is this is a really funny clip that they did was you see her drill through the hole, and then the next cut, there's a peephole already built into there.
She already
She already
stabbed
built that
it in there.
peephole. Right.
Little continuity error.
What was wrong with the old people? You have to have to replace the door.
Right. Replace the whole door.
Just
if
to
you're gonna
get
do that.
another people. I don't know, dude. That's weird. But California, right?
Right? Can't you replace the little, peephole insert there,
you
like not have
can.
to make a whole new hole.
Yeah, the glass
you,
gets
you would, you would think so. I
you
mean,
can, yeah. Have to replace the whole door and then drill through it again.
Yeah, we're fact checking this movie,
Another
bro.
people? Sorry.
Yeah,
Fact checking
yeah,
this.
totally.
We've got a peephole issue. We've got a
okay.
cordless drill issue. What's next?
We're not really overthinking it. So
Right?
Sorry.
We're trying to, but I think we're just a little too high and a little too toasty to really do it. At least Robert and I are.
No such thing. Bo, what you are...
I don't give a fuck. This is a 420 friendly podcast. Who cares?
I am eating Doritos and scarfing out munchies.
Yeah, I know you are. I'm watching you do it.
I am not high.
This motherfucker. God damn it. God damn it.
I have not eaten all day. I'm sorry.
Now, I don't know if we really went into how the men are portrayed in this. I mean, they're definitely either creepers or douches.
Yes.
I mean, we touched on that a little
dude,
bit
they
earlier, but
portray us as total tools.
and they're not entirely wrong.
And
I mean, seriously.
we are only around when they need us.
Right.
We are total tools.
Well, what's
I'm
really
sorry.
interesting about this is that it is from the male's point of view. I mean, we're watching this movie and we're seeing a scene of guys peeping in on girls getting naked, and they're over here giggling and laughing, but so are we. You know what I mean? We're like
Yeah.
titties, bro. That
I
made the
mean,
movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're doing the
Classic.
same
We're doing the
thing.
same thing. So
Classic
it's like
juvenile, yeah.
exactly, and
Exactly.
it really is true, and that's what's crazy about it.
I mean,
That's how men think.
The thing, these actual actors are like in their 30s portraying like 18-year-olds, so...
Or the
That's also
20
crazy.
or the
That is pretty
22-year-old, 13-year-old.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Courtney.
exactly. The Jody type annoying chick. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, Jody loves Chachi already. Get over with.
Yeah, but then there's then there's the fucking boyfriends themselves. You know, I mean, the first thing they do is they straight up creep on these girls and they just peep on them.
They just peep on them. Exactly.
Yeah,
Which is weird because it's like if these guys never been laid before,
No, you're right.
did
Yeah.
they have sex with their girlfriends? Like,
It's like, have you ever seen a female?
I think one of them even comments that, man, I need to give my girl a little more attention. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah, he says, I don't think I've been giving Kim the attention she deserves.
From
it's like Jesus Christ, dude. Then your game needs to be better for one.
Right.
like,
And
you're
two,
whacking off
maybe-
at the window. So
Yeah,
it's
maybe
weird.
don't sit there at a window creeping on your girlfriend and all of her friends. You know,
were they
too.
even dating? I mean, I don't even understand.
I don't think that it's ever substantiated.
Right.
I don't know.
Was it just like oh, hey, you peeped on us, but hey, I still want to have sex?
It. I think maybe in the third movie it's more like that.
Right.
You know.
Which, if you really want the full experience, you need to watch all three movies. If you want to see more of this, there's the exact same tropes. You know, women about getting killed with the drill by this random
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
All the guys are douchebags or creeps. You know, it's the same tropes.
Mostly creeper, yeah.
Except that second movie is batshit fucking insane,
Insane.
right, guys?
Crazy.
it's
Well,
a
'cause
mind fuck.
It is.
Yeah.
It's all
in
it's on her head.
inside of somebody else's mind.
It really
That's
is.
what it is. Yeah.
And it adds this really, really surreal element to the normal flow of these movies, you know, like the whole,
Right.
you know, everybody meets up at school, then they go to the slumber party, the killer is subtly killing people, there's dudes creeping on women and everything.
Yep.
I mean, it's all the same thing, but it's not played as straight, like especially with the killer.
Right.
The killer is this weird, freaky rock and roll greaser
Guitar
type, like a rockabilly type.
Right.
Right,
He was like
dude.
pulled straight out of Grease, but with like an electric guitar. And
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
It's
yeah.
the 80s, so it's like an 80s 50 cafe with
Right.
with a drill guitar.
Yeah, seriously.
Have you been to a rock hard cafe?
Hard rock
Hard rock cafe.
Hard rock.
Hard rock.
No, but yeah, rockabilly.
Rockabilly, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a
Old
pickup
school-
line.
old
That
school
does sound like a
50s
pickup
greaser.
line.
It
Hey
does,
girl, you
right?
ever been to the Rock Hard Cafe?
There you go.
Jesus
rock-
Christ.
Sugar and Kool-Aid. How many scoops, Bo? 4.5.
Oh yeah, we're
Four?
looking at the we're looking at the Kool-Aid scene. This girl's making Kool-Aid. She's not putting nearly enough sugar in there.
Nearly enough.
Not
Fucking
nearly.
white people.
No.
Fucking white people.
Not nearly
I swear.
enough to be sweet, bro. Like, what do you think?
Seriously, what the fuck?
What do you think?
I don't know, man. I mean, I remember making Kool-Aid, no matter what the flavor, putting a lot more fucking sugar than just the one cup that they asked
I
me.
Right.
always remember adding like at least 4 scoops and then adding like another spoon just to make it sweet enough.
Yeah, just to make it
At
nice
least.
and thick.
Just at least
Right.
make it sweet, not too much sugar, right? I don't know.
Yeah, seriously.
I got a T-shirt line. You know, I know I'm white, but I'm not that white.
You're not that white. You're at least tan enough.
Right? I'm not white enough to put only 2 scoops of sugar in my Kool-Aid.
Wow.
Damn.
How was that sweet enough for you?
Right?
I wouldn't even taste the Kool-Aid.
Hey, you're gonna taste
mean,
the sugar.
seriously.
You wouldn't even taste anything. I don't know. Not
It'd be
even
sour.
not
bland.
Even the, not even the push.
Ugh,
Just
no,
this
I mean,
coming
no
from
shit.
the same people that put sweet and low in their tea.
what if you just?
Ugh.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Golly, sweet and low. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, put equal in your tea like normal people do.
Or just regular fucking sugar
Oh,
and
yeah,
enjoy
right,
life
sugar.
the way it
I
was
mean,
meant to be enjoyed.
Shit, what's wrong
I
with
mean,
you putting
Splenda's
just?
alright.
What's wrong with you just putting the regular amount of sugar? What the hell?
I don't
There you
know. I don't know. How about having your teeth blow up on you? Yeah.
You're right about that.
Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why you don't use high fructose corn syrup either.
Ugh. Gross. So, this movie, like I said, it was originally satirical, but it plays a lot of the slasher movie trope straight. Like, I mean, what do you think, Robert? I mean, you're kind of our resident slasher historian, more or
I
less.
think we both are, but you know.
You
that.
know-
Yeah, more or less.
I think
we
you
are.
know that by now. Which almost going back to the Friday the 13th and what's that other one we got that I brought?
You brought The Burning
The
with you.
Burning,
Yeah,
bro.
Harvey Weinstein's rapey fantasy movie.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean that goes
Oh,
back
yes.
to 82, but I mean we'll go back to horror history. on that one.
Oh, of course.
I
I mean,
That's why I brought it. Sorry.
yeah, I mean, we had to do just a straight up slasher movie. I mean, especially with what we started the season with. I mean, we started with Halloween 2018.
We
so-
had to because we left off season 1 with the first one, and
Yeah.
Halloween 18 was at the screen episode. So we
It was.
and then we did that after.
And we highly recommend listening to that episode, of
remember
course.
we got Ash, but you and I went to the movies.
Yeah, we went to the movies, and it was originally Ash. This was before Dakota.
Before Dakota
Right.
joined on. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It was like,
You know, have y'all noticed that Robert is our resident, like, everything? Like, anytime we need some special advice, it's Robert. Our resident car person, our
resident car person, resident actor
historian,
person,
actor
resident
person,
slasher
filmmaker.
movie.
filmmaker,
Yeah.
director, everything.
He's
Director
a jack of all
slash-
trades.
That's it.
wow, I'm glad
Yeah,
at
right.
least somebody appreciates that. Sorry.
It's
Yeah,
talent, bro.
seriously.
It's not many people could appreciate for stuff like that. Sorry. I'm about to cry. I'm gonna
They
cry.
totally should, though. I mean,
It should, especially you, Bo. Not many people will get credited for the shit you do, especially editing wise, bro.
Right.
At
I
all.
mean, yeah. I mean,
I mean, you do a lot of fucking work, dude. I mean, sorry, you do a lot of work.
I won't lie. I certainly do my fair share of work. But I think we're getting to the point where we all do at this show,
Rise.
more or less.
We're going on a tangent here.
Yeah, we're going on a little tangent.
We're not
I
even
mean,
talking
Slumber
about
Party
the movie
Massacre
anymore.
is just so much fun.
It
I
is.
mean,
Oh,
everybody knows how awesome this movie is.
we
Right.
are going to introduce you guys to Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. I think, Ash, we saw the first Nightmare on Elm
Yeah,
Street.
we
watched
saw
that
the first
together.
one.
And Robert Englund, bro, you need to watch the rest of his trilogy.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with this stuff like you guys did, and I guess that's just because of the generational gap. I mean, I guess that's just because of the generational gap. But
Right.
being exposed to it now was a lot of fun because, I mean, these movies exist in the background, like you know about them.
Yeah.
When I was
Regardless
younger,
of
I
your
didn't
age.
really watch horror movies that much. That was kind of my own doing. I just didn't really think about it, you know?
Well,
I was always
from
there
what
for the-
from what I understand from talking to your mom, I mean, we all work together and everything. Like y'all have always kind of, as a family, watch more sci-fi and stuff.
Yeah,
like
we're,
that,
we're
right?
totally a sci-fi
Yeah.
family. Star Wars, Star Trek, that's our shit, bro.
Yeah. See, I mean, my family, we just liked movies in general. I just kind of gravitated towards horror, like
Right.
Slumber
Horror,
Party Massacre, or
Whatever came out that year, too.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And especially when I hit my late teens, early 20s, I went on a huge horror kick. I started watching all the, like the Friday the 13th movies, The Shining, Dead Alive, Night of the Living Dead, all that good stuff. And that's what really solidified it for me. And but what I love about slasher movies are the different tropes that are actually at play in each and every one of them. And this one is no is no different, honestly. Like, what do you think, Robert? What are some of the actual elements that you see here that are typical of slasher movies?
Typical of slasher movies. For one, I'm thinking the Pizza Boy, right when he's introduced.
Oh yeah, and that's the first time that any one of the main characters realized that there's murder going on.
Exactly, that is your classic Michael Myers. Like, what is going on? But
yeah,
they didn't have a Pizza Boy and Michael Myers. Sorry, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right,
it's a classic suspenseful build up towards an actual murder. You know, I mean, you guys really need to see a Driller Killer before all this.
Oh yeah, Driller Killer kind of sets the precedent for this, as we said before. Abel Ferrara's work.
It sets the tone for this actual weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
In general. Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, I mean, the killer himself, I mean, there's not a whole lot of backstory given to him. I mean, it's actually kind of brilliant how you get an idea of who he is. It's just through this brief radio clip. And
Right.
That's also something that's kind of used in Halloween, right?
Yeah. An escaped mental patient probably hacking people for almost 10, 15 years is on the run, right? And
yeah, exactly.
she turns the dial off to turn to another station. Dude,
Right.
that is important stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was super important.
Exactly.
Wouldn't you want to know what is going on in your area?
Be prepared for it.
That's like
right.
the Bay Area, or that's the Long Beach Pier area, right?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's Long Beach right there.
That's where this movie takes place, is
Like,
Long Beach?
almost Long Beach, California, almost Torrance Beach.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
way it looks.
Makes sense.
Old back Torrance Beach, California.
Yeah,
Right.
that makes
What did you say,
sounds
though?
about right. Hey, everybody, we'll get back to the show here in a little bit. But first, I wanted to tell you about Podcoin, the app that allows you to earn Podcoins by listening to your favorite podcasts, like Collateral Cinema, and use those Podcoins to either donate to charity or purchase gift cards from places like Amazon and Starbucks and so on and so on. So look for them on iTunes and Google Play. You can find Collateral Cinema on the Podcoin app. And upon registration, use the promo code COLLATERAL with a capital C, and you'll get 300 Podcoins right away. So check them out. Check us out on the Podcoin app. And now back to the show.
It looks like it.
See, Robert
Yeah.
knows his shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
The killer, I was surprised actually at the actor's ability to use expressions to just kind of convey the whole psychotic nature of the killer right there at the end, where you finally get a glimpse into his personality, you know, and he's just crazy, you know. He's like, "You're pretty, I love you."
I love you, babe.
And
Yeah.
he still doesn't have a real reason for what he does, much like Michael Myers in Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good parallel.
I'm tired. I'm wasted. I love you, babe.
I love you, babe.
Man, where's our bell? Ding,
All right.
ding,
Yeah, that's
ding.
it. That's
there
it,
we
guys.
go. There's
Jerry
what,
Springer cowbell.
yeah, there's one of our prerequisites for a Collateral Cinema episode.
We'll get to the other one later.
Yeah, eventually. No, I hope we don't, because I'm not really in the mood for it right now.
You never are. Trust me.
I know this is a great episode. I'm not going to remember it. Sorry, guys.
No, I don't think any of us are going to remember this, honestly.
It goes down.
You
in
know what
history.
you will remember?
What?
Who your daddy is.
Oh, there it is.
I'm speechless
Bo.
in some ways
Bo.
right now.
Bo.
I
It is not Dana Carvey.
I understand, bro. I understand.
Neither
It's
of
not
us.
really him.
It's not Dana Carvey. It's our
It's
dad.
not him.
It is his fault, though.
Mike Myers, maybe not. Okay.
No, it is his fault.
No, it's his fault. That whole movie entirely crashed. Sorry.
Now, what do you think of the use of blood and gore and violence in this movie?
Wasn't it kind of like Ricky O in a lot of ways?
No, it wasn't nearly as gruesome, but in fact, there was a lot of shots that were actually kind of cut away from.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Well,
Yeah.
in this movie, it's mostly just like it's drill holes and slices. It's really
Yeah,
all you
yeah.
see in this movie. People, you see guts being sliced, and you see like people's eyes or chests or hearts being like drilled through. So that's pretty much the only two ways you see people die. So that's kind of there's only really two tropes for that.
yeah, you're not wrong about that. It's mostly,
certainly not.
Mostly a carotid artery with the skill saw or drill bit, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it still gets pretty bloody. I mean, there is at least one decapitation in the movie.
Right. There's a hand being cut off.
Yeah, oh yeah, there is that as well with a machete.
Lots of guts being sliced.
Yeah.
Oh man, and there is not lithium batteries in this era, Ash?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't live through this, but
Me neither.
What the fuck are y'all talking about?
Where do you plug in this drill?
how does it charge? Is it magic? Is that kind of
Is
a
it
supernatural
magic?
element?
Do I have a battery pack in my waist?
I don't know. I mean, when you actually take the drill as being a metaphor for the dude's penis, or just for penises in general.
Oh, they straight up show it in that one scene where it's dangling between
Yeah,
his
no.
legs.
It's
You've
not
seen
even-
the poster, right? It's the drill, and that's
it's
the
that
cover.
one. It's that one shot. Yeah.
It's a middle appendage right in the woman's face, like
Exactly.
it's almost ejaculating. Sorry.
Seriously.
And then there's the scene where she cuts the drill in half, like she's castrating him.
or
you know?
No, you're
or
right, you're
emasculating.
right.
I mean,
No.
castrating would be cutting the
Emasculating.
castrating would be
Balls.
cutting the balls off.
Cutting the balls off.
Emasculating would
Castrating.
just be cutting the dick off.
I literally just in half.
Emasculating the male.
Yeah, it's just
Right, really.
once again subverting that male fantasy and just completely cutting it down, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, chopping us down to where we're nothing, pretty much. Sorry.
Yeah, and I mean the special effects themselves are actually pretty competently done. I mean, they're not Tom Savini level, but I mean they definitely have their own characteristics in many ways. I mean, I think there's a disembowelment, like we said, there was a beheading as well, and honestly, I mean, I actually really liked the gore effects in this.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that. We can go back to watching the old horror flicks, sorry,
Yeah.
like House of Horror 5.
Oh yeah,
House,
yeah.
What is that? House?
It's Horror House on Highway 5.
Horror House on Highway 5, sorry. I just ordered a copy.
That's another movie where all of a sudden a drill.
It's
comes into
another
play.
driller killer.
But it's not a power drill. It's just
not
a
a power
manual drill.
It's like you would drill right through some wood or
Yeah, just
make some arts and crafts
yeah.
or something.
It's a drill like that.
Did you see that?
Yeah, and
Where he was just like holding it and
I
drilling it?
don't know that he actually used it to actually harm anybody.
Like you
in
just
that
like
one.
drill through a human skull or right through a human body with that.
Yeah.
It's just like weird. No.
Now, what do y'all think of the actual characters of the movie itself? Like the actual group of women in this movie, just as friends, as individual characters.
Right. Well, they were surprisingly non-defenseless. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They knew their way around having to get through the house and get away from the killer, and even take up and fight, which they do in the end.
which is interesting because they're constantly using knives.
Right.
Which traditionally, when it comes to slasher movies, is kind of seen as another stand-in for a phallic symbol.
There you go.
And they're mostly the ones that handle knives in this movie. I mean, there's a couple of instances where the killer uses a knife to kill a dude, but I mean, yeah, they're totally not afraid to go on the attack if they have to.
Right.
Like, for instance, near the end where I think they use a baseball bat. They use a poker, a hot poker.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Fireplace
attack?
poker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was so stupid, that scene. She was hitting him with it, not stabbing him with it.
I know.
Yeah.
She should have hit him and then stabbed him.
That
And
was
then
a lot
kept
of the-
stabbing.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody committed. That's
There
why
was-
the dude kept coming back.
There was
Exactly.
a lot of beating him unconscious and not following through,
Right.
Come on.
Well, once again, that's a pretty common slasher trope.
Which, people are not going to kill something that's just lying there. Like,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? They're going to wait till you get up and chase them and then do something about it.
Right,
Like,
because normal
Right.
people don't want to kill other people.
you don't
Yeah,
kill
seriously.
like a lifeless thing just
Yeah.
lying there.
If you can just incapacitate them, you know what I mean?
But he's a psycho killer. I'll behead that mother.
right,
know?
obviously.
But I mean,
He's
even,
not gonna stop.
Even so,
Yeah.
that's something that kind of became a trope throughout slasher movies in its own right, to the
Exactly.
point where it
Right.
became a joke, and it was part of the parody that Rita Mae Brown wanted to put forth. Along with the portrayals of men and women in this movie, which I think was pretty much left intact, more or less. That's what I think. Now, normally with slasher movies, they almost always invariably have a final girl. Some of them have a final guy every now and again, but I mean, this movie right here is kind of different because it doesn't seem to have a single final girl that actually fits the common tropes there.
Right,
Like,
it kind of breaks those norms.
Like, are any of these girls virginal other than the girl Courtney, the young girl?
They're all over 30, so they're probably
Yeah, but I'm talking about diegetically when it comes to the movie.
the
characters themselves.
That
I mean-
18-year-old not looking past the 30-year-old body. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
I know it's difficult to do.
It's
but-
difficult to do in the 1980s now, but yeah.
You know, we were just looking at a scene, and I know y'all talked about it later, but the similarities between this and Halloween. I wanna watch Halloween. I haven't seen the original. Y'all are supposed to show me it.
Yeah, since you just said that, there's that one scene in Halloween where she's going off to wash her clothes.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to show you that.
Yeah, because I mean, there's actually a scene here where it almost repeats that scene verbatim, right?
That's where she goes back with
Except-
Lindsay Wallace. Yeah.
Except
exactly.
she's not actually trying to wash any clothes.
No.
I mean, what is she trying to do? She's going out there to check a noise or something.
Yeah, and yeah. Yes. And
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Then she goes back. It's almost like Halloween, where she goes out, she spills butter on her from making popcorn.
Oh yeah.
And then she's got to wash her clothes, and then she gets stuck in the window.
Yeah.
And you see the figure Michael Myers right in the background, right?
And there's also a scene in a car in a garage,
Exactly.
which is also from Halloween.
the strangulation scene, which is very much depicted right here.
But I mean, who do y'all think would actually fit the role of a final girl in this movie?
Definitely Courtney's sister.
Yeah, but I mean, she only represents one facet of a
Right.
final girl.
Well, which is really interesting because there are 3 different girls that end up surviving, and one of them ends up being the girl in the next movie. And because we talked about the next movie being so dreamlike, it was that girl's dream.
And she herself is not necessarily what you would call virginal in that movie either.
Right. And what's really interesting is she wasn't even she wouldn't even be my first choice to be considered as a quotes main character.
Yeah.
So the
yeah.
fact that she would be the one that moved on to be in the next movie is quite interesting.
But I
Weird
mean,
approach.
just given how batshit insane that second movie is.
Oh God, I mean it's understandable.
Yeah.
knowing that she went fucking crazy after what happened to her and her sister.
Right.
It's mostly psychological trauma.
Yeah.
And truthfully, if I had to choose any one of those 3 girls to have realized that they would have been crazy, it would have been that girl.
I mean, seriously. I mean,
And
definitely.
then
Yeah.
she go crazy in her head enough to David Lynch the whole story in her brain. Dude.
Yeah,
of,
I mean-
of part 2.
Which,
that's
of course,
crazy.
makes entire sense whenever you consider the actual killer of that movie and how he just pretty much pulls a Nightmare on Elm Street, a Freddy.
Yeah. It was a whole dream sequence out of her head and just something she imagined, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really goes into such mindfuck territory that, I mean, I'm surprised that it's not higher on most people's lists when it comes to slasher movies. Because, I mean, in some ways, it's almost better than the first one.
That is your classic dream sequence slasher is,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that it's popular. It's Wes Craven. It's famous. It's almost like the nightmare before.
yeah. I mean,
You know.
but that entire movie is pretty much a dream sequence. And
It's pretty much all dream sequence, bro.
yeah. Seriously.
That's what's crazy. It's like, is she crazy? Did this actually happen? You know, we really don't know what to think.
Yeah. But guys, I really, really like the third movie, though, because it's pretty much just a repeat of the first movie, just kind of with a little bit of a different angle.
I personally think it was a little better.
Yeah.
I think they had some improvements in that they did that they definitely improved upon from the first one.
I think even the acting was a little better in that
Right.
movie.
And the killer's backstory went into more detail in the third one, right?
Yeah, a lot more detail.
Right,
I
because
mean,
he's like the neighbor, isn't he?
he's
trying to move in.
the killer in that movie is one of the girl's boyfriends.
That's right. It was the kid,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they make you think it's 2 other different people.
He's-
That
he-
is so right.
He's like some college. Yeah, they make you believe like it's like 2 other lurkers. Or,
Right, and again, that's
Yeah.
another
It's a
sign.
red herring.
Yeah, exactly. It's another
And-
sign where you get those guys who are creepers.
Creeper.
in every
bro.
single movie.
And there's lots of red herrings in these movies, and they're almost all the creeper
It
guys.
leads you on to believe that it's somebody else. Right when you see,
yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, the backstory of the killer is a lot more pronounced. I mean, especially, and it even gets into really, really dark territory when you find out what he's been doing this whole time. I mean, and even the people that you think are going to be killers, they're the ones who end up getting killed in this movie,
Right.
in the third movie.
Right. And that's a really interesting way of doing that because they really mindfuck you on that one.
It's great.
Yeah. I actually like the killer in Slumber Party Massacre 3 a little better.
I do
than-
too because you
3
get
is
you-
cool. Sorry.
No, you're right. It's cool.
It's cool.
Honestly, I actually do not dislike any of these movies in any way.
No, I don't have a reason to dislike any. I mean, they're fun. There's nothing unenjoyable
Yeah.
about them.
Yeah.
So why would I dislike them? You know, there's some continuity issues like the hole in the door, but like that's
Yeah.
just kind of stupid directing stuff that's funny to note. You know, Easter egg kind of things.
And it's funny how in almost every single one of these movies, I mean, at least the first 2 sequels, they have a dancing scene where the girls just get naked and do this weird strip tease for each other.
Oh, that is cool.
you- This is what girls do, right?
I know, right?
But it was written
Definitely.
by women, so
I
maybe
don't-
that is what girls do.
Definitely
But I
male
don't think
fantasy.
that you really have that here in the first movie, though, right?
No, just in the second one.
I mean, they do get
third one. Sorry.
I mean, they do kind of get nude in front of each other, but it's more just like, yo, we're changing clothes.
Yeah, but each time
or
that
we're taking
happens-
showers, or
Each time that happens, there's dudes lurking and watching. So
except for the shower scene.
Except for the
That's-
shower
That
scene.
is
Yeah.
solely all women, right
Almost Carrie, like again,
Yeah.
we're saying that's a Carrie scene.
right.
He's dead, all right. No kidding. He's so cold. Is the pizza? Oh. Well, life goes on after all. And eating makes me feel best. When I feel bad, and boy, do I feel bad. Oh. I feel better already. Really, I do. What if it's Neil? We better open the door. No!
And might I say that the girl that is wearing the nightie in this movie is so fucking gorgeous.
Oh my god.
You could say that.
She's wifey
We're
material.
not wrong about that, and we're waiting for the pizza boy.
Oh yeah, the pizza boy. Yeah.
Are we getting pizza here?
Are we getting
Thank
pizza?
God that
Yeah.
One of us
This
is gonna be the pizza boy.
motherfucker. This
Man, I
motherfucker
could
is
do a
asking for pizza.
Dude, what time is it? Boy, it's like 2
Far-
o'clock in the morning.
Far too late for
Is
fucking
it-
pizza.
2:00 in the morning.
We'll
Why
find
are we
somewhere that will
recording-
deliver.
Why are we recording this early, guys? This late?
I don't know, man. This is just how we do this shit now, or something. I thoroughly enjoy the first one. I think the third one is great. The second one is absolutely batshit insane. But what are y'all's favorite moments from all 3 of these movies? At least from what y'all remember. At least from the first one.
batshit moment crazy.
Anything that's batshit crazy or just memorable?
Memorable moments. I love this movie ever since it was in Netflix.
Yeah.
One of the most memorable moments, I think. It's hard to say.
There's a lot of really memorable moments
Yeah.
in the series.
For me, the one that comes to mind is when the neighbor is trying to knock on the door and let her know that he's about to get killed.
Yeah.
But she's watching a horror movie which is masking his screams. And by the time she finally hears it and comes around, he gets pulled by the killer, and so she doesn't see him. And
Barely
then
out
when
of
he
shot.
screams while he's dying, it's masked again by the movie she's watching.
Right.
And I just want to comment on one more thing before we really wind down, is how there's almost kind of an underlying subtext of rape in this, especially in this movie.
Especially, I agree.
I mean, especially given the phallic nature of the weapons.
oh my God. I mean, the second girl that gets killed in the school, the way he like just comes down on her with that drill.
Yeah,
Like, and she's screaming and yelling no. Like,
it's
that's
very, very much
that's rapey, bro.
rapey as fuck.
There's the feminist angle.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's where it comes in. And obviously there is some kind of a message to this.
It's commenting on the power dynamic of patriarchy, more or less.
There you
And
go.
also how that kind of plays into stuff like rape, or how women use their bodies. I mean, that's very relevant nowadays, especially with these abortion bans that are being passed all around the country.
This movie is all symbolic.
It's very symbolic. But okay, let's go ahead and go back to our favorite moments. Like, I mean, what was your favorite moment, Ash? Again?
Like I said, the moment where the neighbor comes and she's not able to hear him screaming because she's got the horror movie on.
Yeah.
They do that a lot in this movie where they'll mask sounds.
A lot of
Often.
fake outs too.
In the very beginning
Oh,
of the
yeah.
movie, at least, because for the first third of the movie, no one knows there's a killer on the loose except for the people that die, right?
Yeah, up until the pizza boy is
Up until
finally
the pizza boy,
revealed.
exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, we started this movie as soon as we started this podcast, and we just now got to the pizza killing scene a minute ago.
Yeah.
So to put that in perspective, it's a good chunk of the movie where nobody knows what's going on, and then that's where the climax begins, because that's where all the people start getting defense. They get their defense ready and they attack.
So do you think that that's the most memorable part of this movie,
For sure.
more or less?
The turning point, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think that the best part of this movie is really the ending. I mean, watching this guy pretty much get emasculated and then chopped down.
Yeah.
And then when he does the typical slasher killer trope of coming back from the dead real briefly, like he's penetrated in the end. What, by a machete?
There's nothing you can do about it.
There was nothing he could do about it at all. Robert, what is your most memorable part of
My
this movie?
favorite memorable moment of Slumber Party Massacre is probably at the beginning.
Right.
When he takes apart, he takes out the telephone girl.
Right.
Yeah,
well, that was,
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
he throws her in the dumpster.
Yes.
And then you know that there's something going on.
Exactly.
Or,
And
it's probably before that when he's following this girl going to school. He takes the Barbie doll out of the trash can,
yes,
dude.
it's so freaky, bro.
That's when you know there's something going on.
and it comes back later in the
There-
window scene.
Yeah, he puts the Barbie doll back with blood in it, or
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and also what's interesting about the dumpster scene is that the dumpster is in the middle of the school parking lot, okay? And he, in broad daylight, killed a girl and dumped her in the dumpster. And then minutes later, the group of students that were friends with her walk by the dumpster, and they can't see in it because they're not tall enough, right?
leave at the same
But
time.
you're looking at a top-down point of view. And
Totally.
That was a really interesting directing.
Totally oblivious to what's
And-
going on.
and-
Yeah.
and
but
you-
it's right next to them.
You can
That's what's so
almost
crazy.
you can almost take it as kind of a commentary on how most victims of that type of violence, especially female victims, are kind of overlooked, and
Right.
they don't even report that type of violence, like sexual or otherwise. I mean, you can kind of see it as a commentary on that.
Right, and that's, definitely seen today in our culture. We had that Me Too thing come up, the hashtag Me Too.
Hashtag me too.
Man,
Exactly.
that's a huge movement, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge.
This movie right here almost seems like tailor made for hashtag me too.
Right, this movie is this sets that emotion, the feminist movements, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Years ahead of its time.
Exactly. That's what's so great about it. It's years ahead of its time with the drill, with the feminist activists.
Yeah, it really
I think
is.
it was definitely
and also being a female directed and female written movie.
right.
You know?
And there's not very many successful movies out there that are directed by women.
Yeah, and it's very problematic. I mean,
Right.
I mean, it's problematic enough that there's not enough people of color that are directing movies or making
Right.
movies. I mean, it's why you get like a Tyler Perry or someone like that.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, I would say Jordan Peele's a little better than Tyler Perry.
Of course.
Like
but-
way better than Tyler Perry. But you got to admit that Tyler Perry, he's a black man and he found a way to make movies in his own way.
You got to admit
and
he's
get
a
them
black
out
man.
there, get them out there, and get them seen.
Right.
By people in the African American community. It's something
Yeah.
that's uniquely for them.
He knows what he's
know?
doing.
He knows exactly. He's making movies for the people that he cares about.
And same thing with this woman here. I mean,
Exactly.
I can only think of a handful of directors on the top of my head that are female besides this one. At least successful ones. I mean, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
That's about all I can think of.
Sophia
right now.
Coppola.
Sophia Coppola, yeah.
The girl that directed the Wonder Woman movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That was directed by a
Peggy.
female.
What's her name?
Wilson? Peggy.
Peggy.
No. Let me look.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get this right. We're gonna look it up real quick.
So the Slumber Party Massacre, they're
Yeah.
totally oblivious of this Peace Boy being killed.
Yeah, she
And
just starts eating the pizza.
They just
off.
go right to eating the pizza. If
I would do that
I would. I mean,
I
I'm
would.
hungry.
as long as it's vegan.
It's
Ha!
vegan.
God damn
Yeah,
it!
that-
keep your vegan circle jerk out of here.
Does that
No,
mean?
no. Veganism is what fuels this podcast,
Does that mean
whether
drawing
you like it or not.
a
Patty
pizza?
Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins. I knew it was a Patty or a Peggy or something like that.
Patty.
Yeah. Patty Jenkins, and she's
Patricia
notable.
Leah Jenkins.
Also, Ava DuVernay.
Ah.
Yeah, she made Selma. She made what was that movie? That was released by Disney recently. A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she made that recently.
She directed the film's Monster in 2003.
Oh, that's right.
And then she's going to be doing the next Wonder Woman movie.
Nice.
She's also she had her work on the pilot episode of The Killing, and she's received a lot of awards, so she knows what she's doing, right?
The
Oh,
Killing
certainly.
is
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I was into that show. The Killing, The Following. No, was it The Following? The Killing. One of those Netflix. Whatever.
So, where do y'all think this movie stands in regards to other slasher movies? As far as like the greats versus the not so great ones. Like, what do y'all think?
Stands up to like altogether like one of the originals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably Friday the 13th, almost, and When a Stranger Calls.
I'd say it's somewhere in between Friday the 13th and Halloween. It kind of
Halloween.
occupies that.
It's got a lot of Halloween Carpenter scenery.
It's very reminiscent of that.
Most of the cinematography. Yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Cinematography, some of the directorial choices, and also a lot of the actual tropes that are played throughout this movie.
I mean, maybe this is just me not having seen as much of the genre as you guys, but I do feel like it kind of stands on its own and occupies its own territory in a lot of ways also.
It does.
It's
As
one
a
of its
slasher
own.
film.
It's one of its own things. One of its own genres, like Sleepaway Camp. It's its own thing.
but
you know?
Sleepaway Camp is certainly its own thing, and
That
this
is
is
great.
kind of. Honestly, you could play this and the first Sleepaway Camp movie and have a pretty good little double feature.
Oh, we can
I
go
think.
back to back and just have
Yeah.
We can go back to back and just have great
I'll just
time with it.
Just
You know what I mean?
fucking cuss. Who fucking cares?
Why are you censoring your cuss words, Robert?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Why am I censoring my cuss words? That is a good question. Sorry, for doing that.
Yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself, bro.
I am sorry.
Don't be a fucking pussy, Robert.
This show isn't for
All
fucking.
right.
This show isn't for fucking children's.
Well, anyway, like we were talking about.
Yeah, like we were talking about.
movie-
Like we were fucking talking about.
the movie is, although it is like I said, a standalone in its standalone genre of its own.
Yeah.
It also is. It does fit along the slasher films at the same time.
It certainly does. Yeah, I mean, it stands the test of time, and this movie holds up extremely well. So do the other two.
Absolutely.
They're incredibly watchable.
Oh yeah, to this day. I mean, this is what 30 years ago, 40, almost 40.
1982.
82,
Bo
yeah.
Ho.
It's almost 40 years ago.
It's almost as old as I am.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yep.
To the test
Not
of
quite
time.
40, but knocking
Almost
40.
when you're straight slasher
Yeah.
camp.
I mean, it was 79 that Halloween came out, right?
Yeah, right around there. Jamie Lee Curtis's first
Yeah.
appearance.
Well,
yeah.
right.
And then,
Introducing, sorry.
and then Friday the 13th, that was 81, right?
81, 80.
It was
81?
80 or 81.
Right around Paramount with Kevin Bacon's
Yeah.
role.
One of his first roles.
Well, it
One
didn't
of his
Halloween
first
or isn't Halloween
Animal House, sorry, before that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, didn't or isn't Halloween celebrating its 40-year anniversary?
Yeah, exactly. 40
so,
years
right?
later. Yep.
But it's 79, you said, right? So it's 2019.
How
that's
old are
40
you
years.
where Halloween H2O came out? You daddy.
That was 20 years ago.
Well, what year is that?
You boy.
What year was it when Halloween H2O came out?
H2O was like 99, 2000.
I was born in 99.
Oh, snap.
See, when that came
The
out,
youngin.
that
Yeah.
was our 20-year
Damn,
thing.
bro.
Now it's
Yeah, that was
40 years, dude.
Yeah, that was 20
You have
years.
no idea.
crazy.
Yeah.
Seriously.
When Halloween H2O came out, that was the thing. It was like the curse Halloween H2O. Was
they-
the 20-year
They brought back
anniversary.
Laurie Strode for that one as well.
Now it's
Right.
40-year
Dude,
anniversary.
yeah, think about that. We've doubled that. I mean, it's a crazy.
That is a thing
Yeah.
to think about. Yeah.
It goes through history. I mean, it'll go down in history.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was the original Halloween H2O.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Shit. Coming out of They're
do
Out
you-
from the Sun. Sorry.
Do y'all
Robin.
do y'all think this movie deserves a remake?
No. Do
No,
not
leave
like
it
this
the way
movie.
it is. And I don't usually say that. I don't usually have an issue with remakes, but the aesthetic of this movie works exactly
Yeah.
the way it is.
Why would you do that with young actors you don't even know?
Yeah, up like a young director that just got her first job with Roger Corman.
Exactly. Why would you take somebody's best work and try to redo it like it's your own?
Right.
I know.
I mean-
Pretty. All of you are very pretty.
Please don't do this.
I love you.
Please. I didn't hurt you. Please don't do this.
Takes a lot of love for a person to do this.
Go away.
You know you want it. You love it. Yes.
I don't even know you.
It's like my official stance is that remakes should be done for bad movies. Like remake bad movies,
feel
make them
you.
better.
I feel you.
That's what you.
I
That's
mean,
what they should do.
adding sequels or prequels or whatever the hell you want, that's
Yeah.
acceptable.
Add a backstory, add
Right.
another sequel, dude.
Yeah, give us some more
Don't
to it, but don't
change
it.
the original.
Don't change it. We don't need a
Exactly.
reboot.
I mean,
we don't want reboots, bro.
Don't change the exact copy of the original.
Unless it's absolutely necessary, just avoid reboots, man.
Seriously.
like, dude, you're not doing anybody any justice.
All right, guys, it's time for final thoughts. We got to wind this down. Robert, we'll go ahead and start with you.
My final thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Go ahead and watch the first Slumber Party Massacre, the second, the third one, and you will have an enjoyable time watching all three. I will probably guarantee you that. Sorry.
Oh, certainly. It's a fun series to watch.
It's not too bad. I mean,
Yeah.
watch it with your buddies. I mean, it's not too bad.
Yeah. And you can still watch it on your own and still have a lot of fun as well. All right, Ash, how about your final thoughts?
For something that on the surface seems so ridiculous with the over-the-top gore and the gratuitous nudity, has a surprising amount of depth to it, you know, and there's this irony that kind of like bleeds through, you know, even if a lot of that was chopped out of the script, it's there. And I think that's what makes this movie unique, especially not just among slasher films, but, you know, as a film overall.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, seriously. All right, Dakota, final thoughts.
You know, it is really funny. We watched these. I watched these in reverse. I watched the third one, and then
Yeah.
the second, and then the
Yeah.
first.
That's how I grew up. Reverse. That's
So you guys
Right.
showed it to us.
Yeah, that's how we watched it, because we were just playing games and we wanted to watch one of them and not watch the other one.
Well, it was VHS.
Because we weren't going to pay attention to it, but we ended up paying more attention to the movie than we did the video game we were playing. So
That was when y'all did the Lego Harry Potter
Yes,
episode.
it
on your-
was.
At the same time, we were
Collateral
getting two
Gaming.
things done.
exactly, it was nice. But anyway,
Collateral Cinema thinking ahead.
yeah, right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
right,
Oh,
exactly.
But like I was saying, it's I watched them in reverse, and it doesn't matter what order you watch these movies in, because they're standalone enough,
Yeah.
each one, that they're not like a scripted series. Even though like the second character is in the first movie, that's really not important. That's not an important thing to know. It doesn't really change that much of the story for you, and so they're all standalone enough, but they still, like you
Yeah.
said, occupy a space.
Yeah.
That slasher film, that good, their own space.
I'd like to think that a lot of people probably saw the second movie before they saw the first movie or
Right.
the third movie even.
See, it would be
You
interesting
know.
to see the second one first, because it's so trippy. I think I'm glad I watched it in the order that I did, because if
Yeah,
I started
yeah.
the second one, I wouldn't know what to expect with 1 and 3.
Start the second one from before you see the first 1 and 3, right? I mean,
Right. Was
I mean-
there ever a plan to make a fourth or a fifth one?
I'm
I
not
wonder.
sure. I don't think so. That's like right at the end of 89.
I don't
right into the
think so.
90s, right?
I don't think so. I mean, I've never personally seen any indication that there was any plans for that.
I mean, obviously, I guess. I mean, I could see, sure, they could do that now if they wanted to. That probably wouldn't be too terrible to add another one. But I think they should have done that then.
Yeah.
That would have been another
You
beautiful
know what?
film.
We need to have more discussion with the trauma universe. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Seriously.
man, we can keep the discussion going on forever.
Right.
Jesus.
Well, what's really nice is you can see the progression between the three, too. You can see kind of a difference in, upgrading in camera quality, just little things like that.
Certainly.
But
Go
at the same
from
time,
82
good acting.
to 89.
Yeah. Well, as Bo
Yeah.
was saying earlier, it was good acting in the third one. There was a backstory. The
Yeah.
killer, you know who the killer is, and you almost not really sympathize with them, but you understand why he's upset, and you gives him a reason to kill people like he does almost. You don't get that from the first two movies, and the second one especially, because it's just some weird wacko rock
None of
and
it's
roll
real.
dude.
It's
None of
all
it's real.
It's all dream
No,
sequence.
yeah, it's all dreams.
From as far as we can see, it's all dream sequence.
Where's
Yeah.
the plot
Almost-
of Inception
almost like
years
Freddy's-
before it? No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Almost like Freddy's Revenge,
Right.
which is part
Yeah.
2. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge,
Yeah.
which almost is all dream sequence, and I kind of basing my short film off of that. The beginning of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
For sure.
wow, yeah.
Hell yeah. And my final thoughts on this movie is, I mean, it's always good to see female directors, female writers get work. I mean, especially back in a time when, the industry just wasn't that receptive to that sort of thing. And, I mean, it stands alone as its own movie, but, I mean, it's also awesome as a part of the overall franchise, and the franchise itself is definitely one of those that will stand the test of time.
Right.
I mean, these movies are, like we said, infinitely watchable, and they've aged really well, which is surprising for a movie, especially from the early 80s, And I mean, it doesn't really matter where you come into this series. You could totally come into it from the second movie. You could come into it from the third movie or the first movie. I mean, you won't really lose much in continuity. You won't lose much with character development. I mean, they're essentially the same movie over and over again, like especially the first and the third movie. They're literally the same movie.
Almost exactly the same, the first and third. Yeah,
but
exactly.
Ultimately, there's definitely something here for even the most casual horror fan, honestly. And hardcore horror fans, of course, love this shit, you know. All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. You can find Collateral Cinema on the Chill Lover Radio app. We are streaming live there. Not necessarily live, but we are streaming there. Check us out on Podcoin. Use the promo code Collateral, and you will get 300 Podcoins upon registration. So definitely check us out on there. And we're also on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else where you get your podcasts. Anything else you guys want to say?
Well, also, if you guys aren't listening to Collateral Gaming, which is our video game podcast that Dakota and I co-host, and Bo and Robert also jump on board and have some comments, we are doing an episode on The Last of Us, which is a great form of storytelling. Beautiful. I mean, an awesome game, and we're going to go into that next week. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, actually. I've seen a lot of that game, so...
And so, yeah, Collateral Gaming you can find everywhere you can find Collateral Cinema. We're also on the Podcoin app, so go check us out. And Chill Lover Radio. We're part of that network as well, and we are really thankful to be a part of the crew on that one.
Certainly. Well, guys, that is the end of this episode. The next episode of Collateral Cinema is going to be Leprechaun Returns. We are going to have Frankie Avila coming back into the studio on that one.
Maybe we can get him on board with us because he grew up with me in the Leprechaun. Trilogy,
certainly.
You
No,
know?
I mean, yeah, he should definitely be here for that.
Hopefully.
They're after me like charms.
If not, we'll have a really good discussion. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. But that's going to be an interesting episode, and we're going to pretty much wrap up our horror kick with Pascal Laugière's 2008 horror masterpiece, Martyrs. And that is something I'm going to look forward to showing these two right here especially. But Robert, you'll get something to take away from it, honestly.
I've not seen Martyrs. I'm hoping to see it. Sorry.
Oh, dude. Yeah, you're going to love it, honestly. It's an amazing movie that will keep you thinking. Certainly.
All I got to say is fuck you, Lucky Charms.
Fuck you, Lucky Charms. Yeah.
Ozzy.
They're after me, Lucky Charms.
They're after me, Lucky Charms.
But yeah, Leprechaun Returns. That's our next episode. I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
I'm Chancellor Ashley.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
And Collateral Cinema is done.
I'm Jason David Frank.
Collateral Gaming is better. Go follow Collateral Gaming.
Collateral Cinema is an L Company production. All music and movie clips are owned by the respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.